Okay, good morning, everyone.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah. So today we'll see the remaining methods quickly, and some of you are still facing some issues with assignment, so that we'll address. Okay. Uh, so we already discussed the payback method, that is simple payback method, then discounted payback, and the net present value. Okay, so I hope you have understood those methods. Now, going ahead, there are two methods which are remaining: internal rate of return method and accounting rate of return. These two methods we'll discuss, and from in the next class we will see some more numericals on these methods. So the internal rate of return is the rate that equates the investment outlay with the present value of cash inflow received after one period. So the meaning of this is we are trying to find out that discounting rate which is going to equate the present value of all the future cash out inflows which we are going to generate on the project investment to the present value of cash outflow. Okay, so as you see here, C0 is needs to be equal to all the year's cash inflows converted into present value. So you know that C1 upon 1 plus R, C2 upon 1 plus R whole square, C3 upon 1 plus R cube. These are all net present value equation. Okay. I hope you uh, can recognize this. This is the profit in the first year, after first year. So when you convert it into today's value, it has to be discounted at the discounting rate 1 plus R. Okay, so this we had already seen. So C1 upon 1 plus R will give you the profit which you are going to earn after 1 year in terms of present value, and C2 is the profit which you are going to earn on that project after 2 years. So when you want to convert it to its value, then it will be 1 plus R whole square. Okay, I hope this is clear. So you are
Yes,
going to
sir.
equate it with C0. That means what? We are reaching a point of no profit, no loss. Okay, so that's what it is here. Summation of t equal to 1 to n ct upon 1 plus r t minus c0. So what is that r which will make the present value of all the future inflows equal to the investment which we have done, present value of the investment which we have done. Okay, so let us see an example numerical. The things will be clear. So there are two cases. One is the case of uneven cash flows, and another is the case of even cash flows. Okay, so uneven cash flows means C1, C2, C3, C4 are all different values. Okay, so the approach is to select any discount rate to compute the present value of the cash inflow. So this is a trial and error method. We are going to assume a discount rate and we'll try to find out NPV, whether it is coming to zero or not. Oh, sorry, NPV subtracted from the investment should come as zero. Okay, so as long as it doesn't come, we'll keep on changing the values of discount rate. Okay, if the calculated present value of the expected cash inflow is lower than the present value of the cash in outflows, a lower rate should be tried. Okay, so what we come to know from here is as we go on increasing the discount rate, the NPV of the project goes on decreasing. Okay, and as we go on reducing the discount rate, NPV will increase. That is what we come to know. On the other hand, a higher value should be. That means if the NPV is positive, then we should uh, take a discount rate which is higher than the which we had taken for calculations. Okay, so this process will be repeated unless the net present value becomes zero. Net present value means NPV and the difference between NPV and the present value of the investment. Okay, so we'll see a numerical, that time it will be clear to you. So this is the numerical statement. A project costs rupees 16,000, okay, and is expected to generate cash inflows of 8,000, 7,000, 6,000 at the end of the each year for the next 3 years. We note that the IRR is the rate at which project will have a zero NPV. Okay, zero NPV means when you solve that equation and you get the difference between the present values of all the future inflows, when subtracted from the present investment, it should come zero. No profit, no loss. As a first step, we try arbitrarily a 20% discount rate. Okay, so you just try to do this quickly. All of you know how to find out net present value? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So you try to find out now. 16,000 is the initial investment, 8,000 after first year, 7,000 after second year, say, and 6,000 after third year we are earning on this project. So at 20% of discount rate, what is the NPV, whether it is coming positive, negative or zero? Just try to find out quickly. So 8,000 divided by 1.2 plus 7,000 divided by 1.2 square, 6,000 divided by 1.2 cube. So these value must be subtracted from the 16,000 and tell me what is the thing you are getting.
$1,000.
Yeah.
1,000.
1,000.
1004 it comes, that is negative.
Right, sir.
Yes. So this present value factor 1, 0.20, present value factor 2, 0.20. What you see here is nothing but you can directly use a table. A ready-made table is there for present value factor and present value factor of annuity. Annuity means basically you have the even cash flows, means every year you are going to say 8,000 rupees we are going to earn. That time we can use that we'll see in the next slide. Okay, so there are ready-made like steam table values are available to us same way. There are these calculations are already done, like 1 upon 1.2, okay, 1 upon 1.3, 1 upon 1.4, and the as you go second year, third year, final year, all these data are available. You have to only take 0.833 from the table and multiply it with 8,000. So that makes the thing calculations easier. That is the only purpose of providing the tables. Now the value is negative. So what should you do with the discount rate? Should you increase it or decrease it?
Decrease it.
Decrease it. Okay, just now we discussed. When you increase the discount rate, the NPV goes on reducing. So it is negative now. So if you reduce the discount rate, it will become positive. Now we started with 20. Now let us try with 16. So when you try with 16, the value comes still negative. That is 57 rupees minus. The net present value comes 15,943. Okay, it is still less than 16,000. Now let us try with 15. What happens? With 15, you get 200 rupees as the positive NPV. Okay, still we have not reached the IRR. IRR, internal rate of return definition, is the rate at which the NPV becomes 0. Okay, so now with this 3 or 2 values, we can apply the principle of interpolation, and we can find out like what is the internal rate of return at which NPV is going to become 0. Okay, so now PV, let us understand this. PV required is 16,000. Okay, this value I am telling 16,200, 15,943, 14,996. Here we need exactly 16,000. Okay, then 16,000 minus 16,000 will be 0. Okay, so at 15%, what is the value? 16,200. When we increase it by 1%, that is 16%, we calculated it came to 15,943. So what is the difference for 1%? 257% is the 257 rupees difference entails 1% difference in the discount rate. Okay, so now from 16,200 to 16,000, if you want to go, that is a difference of 200. What should be the change in the discount rate? Okay, it is a simple interpolation kind of thing. So 16 minus 15, that is 1% के लिए 257, तो 200 के लिए कितना? Are you getting? So that comes to 0.8. Okay, so you need to basically add 0.8 to this and you get 15.8. So if you use this 15.8 as the discount rate, you will see that the net present value comes to 0. Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
So basic idea of internal rate of return is that basically in other terms, IRR method are yield on investment, marginal efficiency of capital. These are the other terms, rate of return over cost. These are the other names which are given to that. The concept of internal rate of return is quite simple. Like whichever makes the net present value as 0. Okay. So here, what is the advantage? Basically, we don't have to predict any discount rate. Okay, so discount rate will be that which is going to be making NPV as 0. So that is the threshold which we use. Okay, now what is the acceptance rule? Once you find out IRR, how do we use it for accepting or rejecting a project? Okay. Before that, let us take another example where the cash flows are same every year. Okay, so here an example is given that initial investment is 20,000 rupees. Okay, and for 6 years down the line, every year it is generating 5,430 rupees as the profit. Okay, so NPV will be minus 20,000 plus 5,430 present value factor of annuity. Okay, that means every year if the figure is same, then we can use directly this value from the table for 6 years and at a particular rate, what is the value? Okay, so now here it becomes simple. Minus 20,000 plus this should become 0. Okay, so PV, present value factor of annuity for 6 years and a particular rate, should have this value 3.683. So it's a reverse process. You go to that table, just try to find out exactly where is 3.683 coming. Okay, for 6 years column, and you just find out the rate. Okay, so that rate comes to basically 16%, which is not given here in the book. If you refer, this internal rate of return comes to 16%. So I don't have those tables currently in the slides. Next time I will try to get them. When we are trying to solve the problems, we can quickly solve them if we refer the tables. Okay, so I will teach you that how to use them in the next session. So this 3.683 is some value in the table corresponding to the rate of 16 and 6 years. Okay, so this comes to 3.683. So it's a reverse process. You just look for 3.683 in the table and in the column of 6 years, and you just find out what is the discount rate corresponding to that figure. Okay, so here the value is 16. Okay, so for even cash flows it is easier. Directly you get. For uneven cash flows it becomes a tedious process of trial and error. You need to find out. Okay, at least 3 or 4 steps are required to find out the IRR. Because once you find out the IRR, the acceptance rule is, like if you look at this table, we have found out the NPVs for at various discount rate: 5% discount rate, 10% discount rate, 15%, 16%, 20%, 25%. Okay, so here you can see when it is 0, NPV is the highest. Then when you increase it to 5%, NPV comes down by 7,561. If you make it to 10%, that is 5% more increase, it reduces to 3,649, like this. Okay, so at 16% it becomes 0. So what do you say about the discount rate which you are, or say the acceptance rule is basically if uh, the in this opportunity cost of capital, that is K, should be uh, greater than the internal rate of return. Okay, so using IRR method, the project, it will be accepted if the internal rate of return is higher than the opportunity cost of capital. Okay, so internal rate of return means this is 16. I mean, now 16, if you take any discount rate below this, that is acceptable. If you take any discount rate which is higher than 16, what is happening here? Just have a look at the table. 16 के ऊपर का कोई भी discount rate आप लोगे तो it is coming as negative. Putting these values in the bracket is a way of showing the negative values in accounting books. Okay, so that is one of the ways people use to say that these are negative values. Okay, so when you have 4% increase in the discount rate, your NPV becomes negative, minus 1,942. Okay, so obviously you are not going to select the projects which are going to give you negative NPV, that is loss. Okay, so all the discount rates which are lower than the IRR, those projects will be accepted. Okay, so that is a simple acceptance rule here. Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Now just quickly go through what are the evaluation, basically limitations and advantages. Okay, this is acceptance rule. Accept the project when R is greater than K. Reject the project if discount rate is less than the internal rate of return is less than the opportunity cost of capital. Okay, you can accept the project if it is same with the internal rate of return. In case of independent projects, IRR and NPV rules will give the same results if the firms has no shortage of funds. Okay, so basically IRR and NPV are almost similar. They may come to the similar preference list of the projects. Okay, provided they are independent projects and the management does not have any shortage of the funds. Okay, so acceptance rule is also similar. Now evaluation of IRR method, just quickly go through. Time value, whether it considers time value or not. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
IRR
Yes,
method
sir.
considers, yeah, it considers because it is similar to NPV. We are going to convert the future cash flows into the present values by using the discounting principle. Okay, so it considers. Then profitability measure, it is a true profitability measure because it is going to consider all the cash flows. Now, acceptance rule is exactly similar to what the NPV is. Okay, whatever projects are filtered out by NPV will again be filtered by IRR. Then shareholders value, obviously, it is consistent with the shareholders wealth maximization objective. So whenever a project's IRR is greater than the opportunity cost of capital, the shareholders wealth will be enhanced. Okay, so internal rate of return has to be greater than the opportunity cost of the capital. In all those cases, shareholders wealth will be maximized. Now, what are the limitations? One is the multiple rates. It means a project may have multiple rates, or it may not have a unique rate of return. Okay, like I already told you, opportunity cost of capital or those rates may keep changing. Okay, so as we explain, means these things are explained in the calculation of IRR in the subsequent chapters. But here, multiple rates means the different projects may have different things, and between different periods they may show different rates. Then mutually exclusive projects, it may also fail to indicate a correct choice between mutually exclusive projects under certain situations. Okay, that this was also a limitation in case of NPV. Okay, mutually exclusive means what? They are competing with one another. Okay, means if you take one project, then other project has to be discarded. You cannot, they are not independent projects you are evaluating. Okay, so if their durations are different, then obviously NPV or IRR is not going to give you proper evaluation of those projects. Then the value additivity, we had discussed this as a merit or advantage in case of net present value, that if you have two projects, their NPV is additive, means NPV of A plus NPV of B is equal to NPV of both the projects together, A plus B in the bracket, NPV in the bracket A plus B. But here that's not true for IRR. Okay, so IRRs of the projects do not add. Thus, for project A and B, IRR A plus IRR B need not be equal to IRR in the bracket A plus B. Okay, so in the book there is a small example is also discussed that you can go through. So I hope IRR method is clear to you. It is
Yes,
exactly
sir.
similar to NPV, except that we are finding out that rate. In NPV, the discount rate is given. Here we are trying to find out IRR. Okay. So going ahead, there is a last method, which is accounting rate of return method. So here the concept is it tries to use the information from the financial statements, to find out or evaluate the various projects. Okay, so it is the ratio of the average after tax profit divided by the average investment. Okay, as you see the formula, ARR is equal to average income upon average investment. So the average investment would be equal to half of the original investment if it were depreciated constantly. Okay, so now this depreciation is a topic under costing. In the second unit, we are going to discuss 8 different methods of applying depreciation to a capital equipment. Okay, so the first method is the straight line method. That is what we are going to use here for finding out depreciation. Okay, other methods we will discuss in the second section. Okay, so average income means if suppose there are 3 to 5 years of data available to us and we are trying to find out the accounting rate of return, so we will take the average income of all the 5 years. All the income is added divided by 5, something like that. Okay, and within an average investment. Okay, so let us see a numerical on this, so which will make the things clear. A project project which will cost rupees 40,000, its stream of earnings before depreciation, interest and taxes, that is EBDIT. Okay, all of you know now this term, earnings before depreciation, interest and taxes. Okay, during the first 5 years is expected to be 10,000, 12,000, 14,000, 16,000 and 20,000. Okay, so these are earnings before depreciation, interest, taxes figures are given for 1 to 5 years. Now we are assuming a 50% tax rate. Okay, and depreciation on the straight line basis. Okay, so depreciation on straight line basis means the rate at which you are depreciating every year will remain same. Okay, but this is not the correct way of depreciation. Say for example, if you purchase a car worth 5 lakh rupees, will the value decrease for the next 5 years uniformly? Obviously not. It will increase more in the initial years, or in other ways, in the initial years it will not face much of the maintenance issues. Okay, so the value will be higher than what it will cost, what it will fetch after say 3-4 years down the line. Okay, so the value does not decrease uniformly, but may follow some other rule. Okay, in initial years its value will decrease less as compared to when you consider the years after say few years down the line. 5 साल के बाद में उसका जो वैल्यू डिक्रीज होगा 6 साल में, अगले 1 साल में, वो इट विल बी मोर देन व्हाट इट हैज डिक्रीज फ्रॉम द इनिशियल वैल्यू टू द नेक्स्ट ईयर. Okay, so there are different methods, we'll see, but here what we are saying that straight line अगर आप formula use करोगे तो 40,000 has to be accounted for in the books in 5 years. So 40,000 will be uniformly distributed. So 40,000 divided by 5. So 8,000 rupees every year you are depreciating. Okay, so that doesn't happen in actual practical life. Okay, because 8,000 won't be the reduction in the value for our car. Suppose for car is 40,000 rupees, it will be lesser, and as you go ahead second year it will be higher depreciation, third year even higher than the second year, like that it goes. Okay, so first is earnings before. If you look at the table, earnings before depreciation, interest and taxes, 10,000, 12,000, 14,000. Okay, this is clear to you. Its average value is given here 14,400, means summation of all these 5 values divided by 5 is this. Now depreciation is every year it is same, that is the straight line basis we are evaluating the depreciation. Now earnings before interest and taxes, what becomes 10,000 minus 8,000. Okay, depreciation का term अपने subtract कर दिया, so earnings before interest and taxes. Okay, so that becomes 2,000. then tax rate is ये जो अर्निंग है इसके ऊपर आपने 1000 किया है. नाउ हियर प्लीज रिमेंबर, इन केस ऑफ दिस IRR मेथड, in case of this IRR method, what we are doing is we are considering the net operating profit after taxes. So net operating profit after taxes will involve basically that formula of EBIT in the bracket 1 minus T. Okay, so we are not going to consider the interest element here. Okay, so if you remember the term EBIT 1 minus T, that is basically the term which we are using here. Okay, so we are without an adjustment for interest, that is the right word here. Okay, so average income should be defined in terms of earnings after taxes without an adjustment for interest. Okay, so EBIT means interest before, earnings before interest and taxes, that is EBIT, and then we subtract tax, that is 15%, so that becomes 1000 rupees. Okay, so EBIT 1 minus T is nothing but 1000. Clear? Then beginning book value was 40,000. When we depreciated it by 8,000, at the end of the year book value was 32,000. Okay, so what is the average value? 40 plus 32 by 2, that is 36,000 was the average value, book value of the project at the end of the first year. Okay, now we go here, second, that is 12,000 was the profit. Again same 8,000 minus karna hai. What remains is EBIT is 4,000. Out of this we pay the taxes, it remains 2,000 rupees. Okay, now at the beginning of the next year the book value of the invest project was 32,000. It was reduced by depreciation to 24,000 by the end of the second year. The average value of the investment for that second year will be 28,000. Understood this calculations?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so likewise you do for third year, fourth year, fifth year. Okay, so by the end of the fifth year, this 8,000 will become nil. 8,000 is the at the beginning and 8,000 is the depreciation. So 8,000 and 0. So the average value of the investment will be 4,000. Okay, so likewise we do an average value of the investment, that is every year 36 plus 28 plus 20 plus 12,000 plus 4,000 divided by 5, it comes to 20,000. Okay, and earnings before interest and after taxes, that is EBIT 1 minus T, average value is 3,200. That means 1,000 plus 2,000 plus 3,000 plus 4,000 plus 6,000 divided by 5. Okay, so this becomes 3,200. Okay, so 3,200 divided by 20,000. Okay, so this is the uh, accounting rate of return multiplied by 100. Okay, so what is that value? Just find out. 3,200 divided by 20,000 into 100.
16.
Yeah, so 16% is the accounting rate of return. I hope everyone else also got.
सर एक बार रिपीट कीजिए ना लास्ट स्टेप कैलकुलेशन वाली.
See, first is you should know accounting rate of return uses the data from the financial statements. Okay, so these values we get from profit and loss account, profit and loss statement. So earnings before depreciation, interest and taxes, that is EBDIT values are given for the next 5 years. Okay, and depreciation is to be charged on the straight line basis. So this 40,000 will be uniformly charged over 5 years. So uniformly means divided by 5, it comes to 8,000 rupees per year. You need to depreciate this value. Okay, so that's why this 8,000 is reduced after out of the total earnings. What remains is 2,000. Now obviously the taxes are going to be paid on the earnings. Whatever is the your profit, on that you are going to get the income tax. Okay, so now we made a point that when you are using ARR method, we should not make any adjustment for the interest which are paid. Okay, so we are not subtracting the interest, which is also a cost. Okay, so EBIT means interest before earnings before interest and taxes. That is figure is 2,000. We are subtracting 50% of the taxes. Sorry, I got disconnected. Are you able to hear me and see the slide now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So we were at this point, earnings before interest after taxes. Is this clear till here? What is going on?
Yes, yes, sir.
10,000 is the earnings before depreciation, interest, taxes. When you subtract depreciation, it becomes EBIT. Okay, EBIT means a tax bhi chala gaya, but we are not doing anything with the interest. Interest is as it is. We are not subtracting it. So EBIT 1 minus, that is the term used for that particular value. So that is 1,000. Okay, and this remaining part explains you the denominator, that is the average investment figure we need to find out. So 40,000 at the beginning of the year, and at the end of the year we had subtracted 8,000. So what remained was 30,000. So what was the average value of the investment? The value of the investment at the beginning plus value of the investment at the end divided by 2. So average value of the investment for the first year was 36,000. Clear hai ye?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Yeah. So same way for second year you do. 12,000 is given in the problem, minus 8,000 becomes 4,000. 4,000 में से tax दिया आपने 50%, that is 2,000 subtracted, it remains 2,000. Okay. Now the second part is 32,000 at the beginning of the second year was the valuation of the investment. It reduced to 24,000. 32 minus 8. Okay, so then 32 plus 24 divided by 2 is the average